everybody, this is Christine from Girl Scouts Heart of Michigan with a video to share some simple and easy ways for anyone to be able to start journaling. Many people think of journaling as the same thing as writing a diary, where you write a paragraph or a page about how you're feeling, but it's much more simple than that. So let's get started. Let's start with what you'll need. First, you'll need some paper. Use any kind of paper that you have on hand. Feel free to use loose leaf, a notebook, or even a bound journal. I personally prefer a simple journal with just dots on the page. It gives me the freedom to make pages into any layout I like a blank page. But the dots help me with drawing straighter lines, spacing things evenly, and helping to make a page layout much quicker. Next, you'll need something to write with. Anything will do. Some people like to use a whole collection of fancy pens and markers and coloring tools, but really all you need is just a pen and or a pencil. I personally enjoy using just a regular ballpoint pen that writes smoothly and doesn't smudge. However, I prefer to use a pencil when I'm trying out a new layout or lettering style just so I can make edits easier. Some additional tools I find helpful but aren't necessary are a ruler for helping with straight lines and some whiteout for the occasional ink error. The most important thing to make sure not to use when journaling is judgment. A journal is for helping us to become more mindful of how we feel, of our habits, and even of how our habits can contribute to how we feel. The most important part about the journaling process is exploring this information in a non-judgmental way so that we can know what choices to make for positive personal growth. When starting a journal, I always like to start on a positive note. I do this by making a page of things that bring me feelings of joy. I call this my warm fuzzies page. I do this by just making a simple list of the things that bring me joy or happiness. When I'm having a day that I'm feeling stressed or sad, and it's hard to think of these things, I'll open my page and intentionally do one or a few of these things for some self-care and help my day feel a little better. Next, I pick one or two goals to work on for personal improvement and make a page to track them. I do this by drawing out a very simple grid using my ruler and pen, and I make sure to pick goals that are reasonable for me to achieve within that month. If I have a bigger goal that I'm really wanting to work on, then I'll break it down into smaller goals that I can work on each month towards that bigger goal. And for this month, I set some goals for two things that I know that make me feel better when I do them, but I've just gotten out of habit with them. So I'll be working on those, and you can see that I haven't quite gotten to my walking daily, but I'm going to make the best out of that and use that as inspiration towards getting to a daily walk every day. Another important part of a journal is a mood tracker. There are lots of options of styles and formats to use when it comes to this section. Just make sure to pick what's best for you and your schedule. Here are 3 options that allow us to be more mindful of how we feel and process our emotions, but to do so in a simple and time-efficient way. This first option is similar to a diary where we would write about our day and how we feel. The difference is that instead of writing a paragraph or a page, we just write a highlight statement or 2 of the day. Something that I make as a standard part of my mood tracker, no matter what format I use, is writing down something that I'm grateful for or that brought me joy each day. I like this format option just because it allows me to capture a little bit more than just how I felt that day, and creating this layout for the page takes only about 5 minutes, and then you're ready to start. Another even simpler option is making a mood tracker that's as basic as it can get. Just list the days of the month, identify some feelings with a couple of symbols of your choice, and then at the end of each day, mark that symbol next to the date with how you were feeling for most of the day. This example just has 3 emotions, but you could use as many as you'd like for a broader range of feelings. such as a happy to sad scale of 0 to 5. Another option with this is to use some color instead of symbols to represent each feeling. As you can see, I've still included enough space for my gratitude statements. The third option is one I've been recently inspired to use and involves using just a simple 2-line graph. The horizontal line represents the days of the month, and the vertical line is a scale of 0 to 10. On this graph, I can chart 3 things each day, but I'm able to do so very quickly. I chart my sleep by the number of hours I sleep. I chart my mood on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 feeling in a low, sad mood, and 10 being a high, happy or good mood. I also like to track my stress to see how that might relate to things, and to also track that on a scale of 0 of low stress and 10 as a high stress. It's great because at the end of the day, I can easily just plot the 3 dots for how I'm feeling, but then as I'm progressing through the month, I can see a pattern occurring and seeing how they might be relating to each other. I like that this lets me easily see how my daily habits, such as sleep, might be affecting how stressed I'm feeling, as well as my mood. I may not be able to change what's happening in life, but I can easily make choices that help me get a full night's sleep and maybe help me feel less stressed. Another example of making a positive out of a negative is when you mess up on a page. Expect to make mistakes. So what do you do when you have a page that is beyond what you can fix with an eraser? I like to turn it into a positive inspiration. Some ways I like to do this are to add a favorite quote, a picture, or some fun doodles. But do whatever inspires you. Last but not least are some final 3 tips to help you keep up with your journal once you start. 1. Keep things simple. You're a lot more likely to keep up with it if it's simple and easy to use. 2. Start with tracking just a few things. If you find you're doing well with sticking with those, then add 1 or maybe 2 more. 3. Keep your journal located in a place where you'll notice it. Out of sight is out of mind, so put it in a place like by your bed so you'll remember to make your quick notes before going to sleep or when you wake up. Happy journaling.